All right, so today I'm going to give you a little bit of background on my involvement or lack of involvement with politics and how I've traditionally approached it, or how I suppose would have approached it longer ago, how I tend to approach it now, and so on and so forth. So, when I was a kid, I found the presidential election to be interesting, I think, especially as it neared to the end, maybe in the last, week of election or something. Um, of course, the election day is always, or the next day or whatever. It's very kind of exciting. I was interested to find out, who would be the next president. I remember, I want to say it was when Clinton got reelected, maybe. No, I want to say it was when Clinton got elected for the first time. So it was when George, the older Bush, I think, lost the election. I think I remember being disappointed. So apparently, I did have a perspective at that time already that I wanted, the conservative candidate to win. Um, and I would say broadly that there's a sense in which that hasn't changed, in which I kind of enjoy politics and political news. It comes and goes in waves, somewhat as how interested I am, but I kind of enjoy it from a spectator sport sort of thing. My team essentially being the conservative side, even though I'm not. I don't fall into the angry patriot community probably. I still lean right, and so I still kind of find it interesting to find out to see who's winning and how things are going. Um, so and then especially if there's a candidate that I like, or it's interesting to see how there's some close battle or something like that, then it's kind of fun to watch. So I kind of enjoy politics, kind of like I do sports, honestly. To see if my team wins, see what the battle is like, see what the stories are going into, and that kind of thing. Now, growing up, the view on politics was very, how should we say, it wasn't that people in our church weren't interested in politics. It was that being politically involved was very much frowned upon. And in fact, voting was actually considered to be a bad thing. So, voting was not considered, was very much frowned upon, I would say. Maybe not a test of membership or anything like that, but I think it considered to be a bad thing. Holding some type of public office was generally frowned upon. You were never a police officer or in the armory because of the use of force, among other things, maybe. But that was, part of the thing there, I think. And so, anyway, we're very. You could be interested in politics, but you couldn't participate in politics, basically. It was kind of how it was set up. And so, I carried quite a bit of that with me into adult life. And um, even though I may have had interest in politics, I guess probably attending Mercy Culture, I started to see the political realm as something that Christians might have a responsibility to participate in, and see. Sorry, I just got a little distracted from my phone here. So it's, I think there are many legitimate reasons that you could bring to the table and talk about the fact that how fraught politics are. Supporting candidates who may support certain things that you do, but they don't support other things that you do. The connection with money and power and corruption and greed, and how difficult it seems to be for politicians to remain uncompromised. So there's lots of reasons like that where you could point to and you say, well, I would rather just not be involved in all that stuff. It's too messy. There's too much evil. I'm gonna just opt out. And that's kind of how I grew up with. That's kind of it's kind of my mode as an adult. And but like I said, at Mercy Culture, they were all about activism. They had a whole. They would even maybe like have a class or a program to where you could learn how to become more involved in politics, basically, and help people, run campaigns or whatever. And so my mindset shifted on that, I would say, to where I believe that at least some Christians, maybe many Christians, maybe all Christians, um, you know, the political realm is not I don't think it's a realm that we want to. Well, to finish that statement about Christians, I think in general they do need to find some level of participation in politics to help, particularly if it's a situation where they can influence in the right direction. They should use that influence to go in the right direction. So, if you can vote against abortion, then you should vote against abortion. That sort of thing. If you can vote to put someone in place who has values that align more closely with the kingdom, then you should vote and not just leave it to whoever to make that decision, to make that call. So that's more how I see it now. And while I maybe have not adopted in a really vigorous sense my responsibility, I did vote for the first time recently. And I say recently, this year, I think in the Texas primaries or something like that. And yeah, so I do think that political involvement is and can be a good thing for Christians to do. I do think that you do need to be aware of the potential for corruption, selfish motivation, raw tribalism. I mean, the list could go on and on, right, as far as the things that involvement in politics, how it can be fraught. But I don't know that just because an arena is messy, that it means that you should not participate in it. So, anyway, I do find, like I said, I do take some interest in politics. And my involvement, officially has increased a little bit. And who knows? Maybe it will increase even more in the future.